How many of you are children of divorce? Your parents have been divorced. My hand's up too. All right. How many of you think that your parents' divorce maybe has affected your choices in men or women or your relationships in some way? Yeah, I agree. All right. All of us whose parents have been divorced have one thing in common. We don't want to make the same mistakes that they did. I'm Barbara De Angelis, and coming up on my new show, we're going to be talking about why children of divorce run high risks of falling into the same traps their parents did, and how you can learn from your parents' pain. Next. Out of every 2 marriages will end in divorce. That means that almost half of you watching in here, half of you watching at home, are probably from a divorced family. Even worse, unless we do something to change the odds, it means that half of our children may suffer the consequences of our divorces as well. This topic has a lot of special meaning to me because my parents were divorced. And like many children of divorce, I vowed what? When I get married, right, it's going to be perfect. It's never going to happen to me. Well, like many children of divorce, I went on to repeat my parents' patterns. Today we're going to talk about what's so difficult for children of divorce. Why do we have such a hard time keeping our relationships together? And we're going to offer some solutions to help you create lasting relationships. Okay, I'd like you to meet 2 of our guests, Linda Banks and Susie Coffey. They both have a problem with commitment, but in very different ways. They both are children of divorce. All right, Susie, let's start with you. How old were you when your parents were divorced?
15.
15 years old.
Right.
Did you know that the divorce was coming? Was it a surprise?
My mother had a nervous breakdown. It was like overnight. I woke up one day and everything in my family was just blown apart.
So everything was fine as far as you knew, and then one day you were told they're getting a divorce.
Yeah, well, she went to a hospital for a long time, and my father divorced her while she was in the hospital.
He divorced her while she was in the hospital. Okay. Now, your relationship situation, I think you told me before the show, is that you're also going through a divorce now.
Strangely enough, it's 17 years exactly that I've been in this relationship, and my parents were married 17 years, and I can remember thinking, how could they possibly do this after all this time? But now I feel like I've been asking for something all these years. I've been in therapy for years, and he would never go with me. So I couldn't live with that anymore. You know?
All right. So you and your husband were together for 17 years. During the 17 years, now I asked you this about your parents. Did you notice any problems? Did you think maybe we're going to get a divorce someday?
No, I didn't want to even look at that. I wanted it to stay together. And I just worked at it and didn't feel I was getting the same kind of stuff back. And all of a sudden I found myself, he just moved into his apartment this weekend, as a matter of fact.
So this is very timely for you.
Yeah. It's real right on me.
If you look back now, I mean, hindsight, isn't it, audience? Hindsight's 20/20. The easy actor would say, oh, now I realize. Looking back now, what do you think happened over that 17 years that you should have paid attention to?
We got involved in our careers and went away from each other, stopped listening, stopped being intimate. And when I said, look, I think there's something wrong, I really need to get it back together, I found that I had somebody that would deny that there were problems.
I don't want to talk about it.
He said, there isn't, it's your problem and not mine.
Does this sound familiar to anybody? It's not my problem. If you have a problem, go to therapy.
You're unhappy?
Everything is
You're
fine.
Out of here, right?
Okay, all right. Now, you have a little different situation, Linda. Okay,
Yes, I
you
do.
came from a similar background, but you've had a very different reaction. See, when we come from a home where there's been divorce, some of us get very quickly into commitments. It's kind of like saying, I'm going to get married and do it right. I'm going to do it the way my parents didn't do it. I'll show them I can really have a good marriage. Some of us do the opposite. I don't want to get committed. I don't want marriage. We're scared of being hurt. So a different reaction coming from divorce. What's been going on with you?
Well, she reminds me of my mother. Because my mother stayed into her marriage, and it lasted, about 30 years before she ended up getting out. She you keep finding excuses. Oh, I got to get the kids through college. oh, just a little bit
now
longer.
Now it's Christmas, it's not a good time.
Yeah, and it keeps going on, and I was going, why is she staying into this? And so I developed this fear of commitment running the other way. And I meet nice guys. As a matter of fact, I'm involved with a guy now. I've been involved for about 3 years. Nice guy. And he's given me like this ultimatum this year. It's 1991, or, you know, it's the end of it. And I just keep running, and I think it's like I said, it's the opposite of what she's doing.
So he's saying, we've been together for 3 years, this is it. Either you make the commitment or I'm out of here?
Or I'm out of here, yeah.
And what's it feel like to know that he's asking you for something, and you love him? Mm-hmm. She's even afraid to say that, you know? It's too much of a commitment.
Sort of.
He's asking you for something. But in your mind, when I say the word commitment, what does that do to you?
Puts a little fear there, because I keep thinking about my parents' relationship and what went wrong with that, and I just don't want that to happen to me.
Right. Okay. Can some of you relate to this? How many of you have fear of commitment? You'd say that is your problem. You have a hard time making or keeping commitments. How many of you are the opposite? You like to find people you hold on sometimes too long in a relationship, longer than you should, even when you know there's a problem. They're both reactions to having been in divorced families. What we're doing is we're, in a sense, trapped in the past. We're reacting to something that happened a long time ago. Okay, we're going to ask Susie and Linda to join our audience right now. So come on down here. We'll try to find, oh, there are some seats. Come on down. And what we're going to do is come back, and we're going to talk to everybody in here about the common traps that children of divorce can fall into. You want to know about these so you can avoid them. So don't go away. We'll be right back. We're talking about how our parents' divorce affects our relationships as adults today, and especially how not resolving your feelings from the past can be affecting the choices you make, your fear of commitment, your overcommitments, and lock us into these negative patterns that we don't even realize we have. See, here's the tricky thing about our parents' divorce. We think that was them and had nothing to do with me. Until 17 years later, in Susie's case, you get involved in a relationship and you realize that after all the effort to not make mistakes, here I am going through the same thing that my parents went through. And that's when you say, all right, let me go back and start to figure out what went wrong. Let's try to put together for some of you who have parents who've been divorced, what happened to them, what's happening to you, and let's see if we can make some sense of it. Who has problems now you think maybe are related to your parents' divorce before? Who of them? Yes, why don't we start with you?
Hi, Barbara. My name is Anna, and I do think there is a big problem with children of divorced parents. I'm one of those people who's overly committed. I give 100%, and I feel happy if I get 3% back. So
you meet a guy.
Oh, yeah. And
tell me, like, the first few weeks of the relationship, how you behave.
Oh, anything. I'll do anything for him. I'm always there. Whenever he needs anyone just to talk to, I'm there.
Sounds like me. What is it?
And I feel like I'm ready for marriage. I'm ready to settle down. I'm ready for anything. And they kind of back away a little bit. Yeah.
How old were you when your parents got divorced?
I was 10 years old.
Okay. And your dad moved out?
Yeah.
Okay. What happened after he moved out? Did you see him regularly?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No.
Not as much as you wanted to.
No.
Okay. And do you remember how it felt to that little girl that all of a sudden he was gone and he wasn't there to play with you or be with you?
Yeah, I felt very, very alone. Very alone.
Okay. This is what happens when, especially for a woman, we lose a father through divorce in some way. We conclude inside, I must not have been good enough. Sound familiar? I must not have been loving enough, cute enough, help something. Maybe if I give more, Daddy will come back. Maybe when I do see him, if I'm just perfect, he'll stay and he'll visit me more often. Now, here she is. How old are you now?
19.
She's 19 years old. Years later, and she meets a guy. Is that guy, or is he Daddy? He's Daddy. She meets a guy, and in that experience, she is giving everything she can. It's performance. It's performance. And so there's still that part of you that feels it must have been something that I did. This is one of the things that can happen. Thank you for sharing that with us. Who else is going through some issues now? Hi.
Hi, Barbara. My name is Maria, and it seems I continually sabotage relationships. Like
I'll think of something. I'll find someone's button, a guy's button, and I won't just tap it. I'll slam into it.
Like what? In other words, you know that something bothers him, or he doesn't
if they're
like
afraid
something?
of commitment, I will push for one. Push for a commitment. Come here, you know, push for a commitment. Or another one is if they're really nice, then they're not just nice, they're wimpy. And then I'll run in the other direction.
So in other words, there's always either something wrong with them or you do something so that the relationships don't last, no matter what. Okay. Your parents were divorced, I assume. You're talking about this. How old were you when it happened?
When I think they were separated before I was born and then got back together for a few minutes and then broke up.
For a few minutes?
Yeah.
All right. And what's your biggest fear? Let's say right now, Mr. Perfect was here. He had the ring. He said, let's get married. What's your first thought? What comes up?
Am I going to end up like that? Okay. Is it going to go away?
And like that, I hear like Mom. And what did you see? What happened to Mom?
I saw my mom being alone. I saw her being really sad, and it was just me and her.
For all those years? Did she ever find happiness again completely?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So do you hear what we're hearing about this? I saw what commitment, a.k.a. divorce, does. And I don't want to end up like that. And that means avoid relationships completely. Because then no man can hurt me, and no man can leave me if I leave first. How many of you are the leavers? You leave before they get a chance to hurt you. Anyone relate to this pattern? Of course, the other people leave us. All right. All right. Who else? Who else has a pattern? Let's see if we can figure out the connections. Yeah, hi. She already has the mic. She's ready. Would you stand up?
Sure. Hi, Barbara. Well, it's not so much that I sabotage my relationships. It's more that I never get started because I'm always wanting someone that's not available to me.
The other pattern.
Yeah.
Like what? Married men? Men who are in love with someone else?
No, well, I mean, like things like, well, I find out subsequently that they are involved with another woman, or I tend to go to workaholics, you know, just people who aren't responsive to me, that are, you know, are emotionally unavailable.
Okay. And how many of these relationships have you had, would you say?
Gosh, 3. One of them was actually quite a long one, but when I look at that relationship, I realize that, you know, he was still not available. I mean, not only was he was physically unavailable, geographically unavailable, because he was in New York, I was here.
That doesn't work.
No, that didn't work.
And just real quick, your dad was not available for your mom?
No, not at all.
And what about when the divorce went through? Was he available to help continue to support the family, to continue to see you?
No, just rarely.
You see what we're hearing here? It's not even like we're in present time. We tend to either do one of several things. We create the same scenario that we went through. You see, find an unavailable man, try to go after him, and then he doesn't love you. It's right back with going after daddy. She's doing the same thing. Or we do the opposite. We find somebody completely different. We try to set up a totally different situation so that we will avoid it. In her case, I'm not going to commit at all. But the truth is, we're still reacting to the same thing. We are prisoners of the past. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about learning from your parents' mistakes so you don't have to repeat them over and over and pass them down to your kids, too. We're talking about children of divorce, the patterns that we may be running in our lives that we don't realize we picked up from our parents. Now, somebody had a great question at the break. Where is he? Yes, hi.
Hi, Barbara. My name's Fred. One point that I wanted to make is I remember as a child that my parents really didn't belong together, and I think I kept remembering that even though they stayed married. I committed early on to my wife, and I really wanted her to marry me. And then I spent the next 12 years of our marriage kind of having one foot out the door. And I finally, maybe 6 months ago, really committed to wanting to be married to her.
So did your parents stay together?
Yes, they did, until after I'd been married 2 or 3 years.
Oh, and then they got divorced.
Then they got divorced.
I see. So in other words, you're saying that they kind of had one foot in, one foot out the whole time. We'll wait till the kids grow up, or wait till the kids are in college, or whatever it is.
Absolutely, and I took that attitude with me.
Okay. And see, this is something we're not conscious of. It's not that he said, I'm going to be just like mom and dad. In fact, do you want to be like them? No, you think, I'm not going to do it that way. But that was your role model. And understanding what they did helps you understand what you're doing. All right. Who else? What about problems with, yes, hi.
Hi, Barbara. It's amazing. I can relate to so many of these stories. But the one thing that I think I've come away with from my parents is the mistrust. My mother never trusted my father. She doesn't trust men. After their divorce, she's never gone on a date. And
how long?
they were married for 30 years. They didn't get divorced until I was much older, but their marriage was dead from probably the time I was born, because I'm the youngest. And they've been divorced now since '84.
And how old are you?
Mid-20s.
All right. Me too. So what we're hearing here is when you see a woman who's hurt, when you see a woman who's been betrayed in any way, you meet a man. He's not a man. He is who? He's your dad. He's all men who hurt women, and the same process happens. Exactly. All right. I want to come. Where are you? I want to come back to you, because we started talking a little bit. 17 years. Your parents were married. Talk about repeating patterns. Her marriage breaks up after 17 years. You talked about your dad and your mom being hospitalized, and in the middle of that, him leaving. Let's give her a mic. I want to ask you for a minute. When you look back at your mom and your dad now, especially because, stand up, I'm talking to you sitting down. When you look back at your mom and your dad now, and you see yourself now, do you see similarities?
I see myself as my mother, and I see who I married as my father. A very unforgiving person. You know, like, it has to be one way, and things can't change unless I move away from it.
But did you see that when you married him?
No.
Okay. No. See, now, do you feel like crazy and stupid? Don't we feel crazy when we look back? It's like, why didn't I see the similarity? Because when we don't examine our parents' marriage closely, when we just say, oh, those were my parents, when we don't learn from it, we're doomed to repeat what we don't learn. Now, learning from it can make a difference, and even if you are married, you can talk about these things together and work it out. I know there's a couple somewhere here. Where is our success story couple who've gone through this? Oh, well, they look successful. Hi, stand up. We want to hear something positive here, because we've been hearing about the problems.
My name is Cindy, and this is my husband, Dwayne. And what I'm here to say, I feel like this is my second marriage, even though it's my first, because I lived through my parents' marriage. They never communicated. They just kind of sweep everything under the rug, and we communicate about everything. Anything that happens, I want to talk about. He thinks we communicate too much and everything. But I'm here to tell you to hang in there. If you know the problem, that's half the battle. Once you know the problem, you're aware of it, you can work on it, and it can work. Just hang in there.
Do you agree? Yes. Very good. Thank you both. All right, I want to show you something. I want to give you some perspective on your parents. Those of you who said your parents were divorced, all right? Now, you have to go along with me. I'm going to ask you for a moment to close your eyes, and I want to introduce you to your parents as they were when they had you, all right? Will you do that for me? You can't peek either. Everybody, close your eyes for a second. Keep your eyes closed, no peeking. I have some people I chose before the show to do something special with you. Okay, are you ready? Open your eyes. This is how old your parents were when they got married. Think about this. Isn't this amazing? These guys, how old are you guys? They're not
27.
together, by the way. We just put them together. They look good.
I'm 27.
How old are you?
28.
Right. Most of your parents, this age, think about it. Now, you think parents, when you're little, it's like, my parents, these people, they ruined my life. But look at this. Look at this. They were kids. They didn't know what was going on. They were going through the same things we were because of what their parents did. That doesn't mean you still don't have problems because of it. It means you can have a little compassion while you're trying to work it out. That's the real issue. Okay? We're going to come back and we're going to actually help you find some more solutions. And we're going to go back to Linda and give her some solutions because she has this deadline. She has to commit or she's going to lose this guy. We can't let that happen, right? We're going to find her when we come back. Thank you. Her boyfriend gave her this commitment deadline. Commit or I'm out of your life. Here's something for you to think about, okay? When we say we have a fear of commitment, it's not commitment. It's what we think commitment is going to mean. Boredom, rejection, whatever it is. So here's what I want you to do. I'm going to give you some homework. It might save your relationship. Go home, sit down, make a list of your parents' mistakes that they made that you would not want to repeat. And next to that, things you could do to avoid making those mistakes. We could go to counseling, we could talk once a week, whatever it is. If you don't find some specific solutions to those problems, you're never going to commit to anybody, and you're too cute to go wasting your whole life. All right. I really believe that the only failures we have in life are when we don't learn from our experiences from the past. Your parents' divorce wasn't there to ruin your life. I really think it's there to be learned from. And the lesson is not, don't love anybody, don't commit, don't trust. It's love with more knowledge, love with more honesty, love with more skills so that it can work. See, we have a chance to do it better, especially children of divorce. And I hope this show has helped you a little bit, learn some things so you can have more hope, especially Linda, so you can have the relationship you deserve. I'm Barbara De Angelis. I'll be back tomorrow. I hope you join me then.
A promotional fee and audience gifts provided by Vitacraft's stainless steel aluminum core cookware, designed for waterless, greaseless, flavorful cooking. For your health from Vitacraft. Hatteras Hammocks, unique two-seater double porch or garden swing. Hand-woven cotton rope, solid oak frame promise many relaxing hours from Hatteras Hammocks.